Biggest mistake you've seen a contractor make? I watched a contractor make the biggest mistake of his career, and the crazy part is, I was the only one who knew how bad it was, until the ceiling caved in, literally. Last year, my wife and I bought our first home. Cute little place, built in the 70 seconds, with a list of problems longer than my student loan summary, but we loved it, especially the basement. We wanted to turn it into a hobby room, her art, my gaming setup, maybe a little bar area someday. We hired a contractor recommended by a friend. Let's call him Dave. Dave showed up confident, too confident. The man talked like he built the pyramids by himself, but he was the cheapest quote we got, and we were broke first-time homeowners, so you know how that goes. The plan was simple: remove 2 old support poles, install a beam, clean wiring, add insulation and drywall. Easy, or so we thought. On day 2, I went downstairs to bring Dave and his guys some water. That's when I caught him doing something that made my stomach drop. He removed one of the support poles before the new beam was fully installed. Now, I'm not a construction expert, but I know enough physics to recognize, oh crap, the house is holding its breath right now. I said, hey man, is that safe? Dave waved me off like I was an annoying fly. Relax, I've been doing this 15 years. Famous last words. I went back upstairs, but I couldn't shake the worry. The floor under my feet felt different, like a tiny vibration, like the house was confused about what was supporting what. I ended up pacing around like a nervous cat. My wife told me I was being dramatic. Maybe I was, until I wasn't. 3 hours later, I heard a thunderous crack from the basement. We both froze. Then, before either of us reached the stairs, a second noise echoed. A deep, heavy thud that made the walls shiver. We ran down to find dust everywhere. So thick, it looked like a fog machine went off. Dave and his workers were coughing, standing in a pile of beams, drywall, and tools. And the worst part? A massive chunk of the living room floor had dropped several inches. Not fallen completely through, just sagged down like a giant invisible foot had stepped on it. Dave looked pale, sweaty, silent. I asked, what happened? He said in a tiny voice I will never forget. I miscalculated. No kidding. He'd removed both support poles, one early, one without proper bracing, and the temporary jack posts weren't positioned correctly. Our living room was one bad sneeze away from becoming the basement. My wife started crying. I started shaking with anger. Dave started Googling structural repair companies like his life depended on it. He kept saying, I can fix it, I can fix it, don't call anyone else. Absolutely not. We brought in an actual structural engineer. He surveyed the damage, rubbed his forehead, and said, this is impressive, in a bad way. He explained that the mistake wasn't just dangerous, it was catastrophic. Like, condemned home level catastrophic if we hadn't caught it early. We had to evacuate the house for a week. The repair cost? $38,000. Guess who paid? Not us. Dave's insurance nearly imploded trying to cover it. The engineer oversaw everything. New beams, proper supports, reinforced joists. When it was done, the basement actually looked better than before, but the stress aged me 10 years. Dave tried to apologize, tried to say he was rushed, tried to blame his workers, but the engineer said something that stuck with me. Rushed work is the fastest way to lose a house or a life. Here's the twist. Months later, I learned Dave lost his contracting license, not just because of our project, but because ours wasn't the only miscalculation. He'd done shady shortcuts for years, and our disaster was the one that finally blew it all open. Other homeowners came forward, other structural issues surfaced. He wasn't just sloppy, he was dangerous. As for me and my wife, we're fine now, safer, wiser. But sometimes, when I'm sitting in the basement, I still imagine what would have happened if I hadn't brought water down that day, if I hadn't noticed the missing support pole, if the floor hadn't sagged, but fallen. And that's the part that still shakes me. Not the money, not the mess, not the stress, but the what if.